At the beginning of the movie, we see some students going to the church camp for their trip. The camp director was also going with them. Then we see a doctor named Peter. He was going to a general store. He was about to purchase when that student bus passes by him. He captures a picture of that bus. Coming inside, he shows this to the shopkeeper and asks where it's going. The shopkeeper says as schools are closed, so they must be heading to church camp. Hearing it, his facial expression changes and he becomes worried. On the other side, those students had reached the church camp. Another director and a chef were there to welcome them. They were here to attend some kind of a festival. That festival will start tomorrow. Those students are divided into different teams. Later, they are assigned their duties. When the driver goes ahead, he allows two girls to sit on the bus in a very deserted place. Then Lumberjack man comes there. He had put huge pancakes in a cart. He had a hatchet and he goes inside the bus. He cuts off the necks of both girls with this hatchet. Without giving the driver any chance to think, he inserts a rod in his head and then stick him to the roof of the bus. We see that Lumberjack wasn't looking less than a devil. He covers the pancakes with the blood of all the three dead bodies. Then we see a girl named Faith. She was working with her friend. Both feel as someone is having an eye on them. Faith moves forward to have a look. She finds their class fellow there. He was secretly looking at Faith. Faith makes that boy run from there by scaring him. Two boys were assigned a cleaning job, but they were unhappy with this. But they were compelled to do their work as they couldn't do anything, because a man was keeping an eye on them. Both boys knock on an idea. They give him that boy a cigar. After smoking, he gets intoxicated. He was considering the statues there as those boys, whereas those boys had run. They were thinking to go to their friends. That man was this intoxicated that he loses his sense of observing his surroundings. Right then, that Lumberjack man comes there. He sees a girl at the place of Lumberjack. He goes near him and smells his hair strangely. But Lumberjack doesn't like this. Here, we see Lumberjack's face for the first time. It was so weird. His eyes were also red. Lumberjack holds him up in the air using his one hand. He detaches his neck from his body with the other hand. He throws his blood on those pancakes too. On the other side, that doctor goes to the head police officer of that area. He tells her that a worse danger is going to come. He asks Luann to free up the town. Anyone living here can face death at some point, because death was wandering around them. Hearing him, she thinks that he is mentally ill, therefore, he's saying this. She orders his assistant to kick him out. The doctor shows some old newspapers to Luann. He says that a massacre starts in this area every 30 years. If she wants to stop this, she should free up this area. But Luann wasn't still ready to believe his words. She kicks Dr. Peter out of there. When he doesn't find any help from the police, he goes to the camp. Now the boy who was looking at Faith was now behind other girls. Right then, Lumberjack cuts off a tree and it falls on that boy. His blood is also dropped on those pancakes. On the other side, those sweeper men were going to their friends. On the way, they meet Faith. Faith was going to have some food and one of the boys pursue her, whereas the second boy was going to his other female friends. Lumberjack kills one of the boys of that group. After killing him, he throws his head in front of his friend. She gets afraid, but Lumberjack doesn't let her go. He starts breaking that girl's bones. He makes her body turn into a table-like structure. He puts his pancakes on her and starts eating. But Lumberjack doesn't like this style much. Therefore, he throws that girl on a tree. It makes that girl die. Whereas, Luann was worried after listening to the doctor and his words. Then she sends the deputy to the police officer of the town. As the deputy goes outside, she hears somebody's voice. She goes outside to check. She doesn't find anyone outside. As she was about to go inside, Lumberjack comes in front of her. He throws off the Luann. Luann shoots all of her bullets on Lumberjack. Lumberjack falls down. It feels like he's dead. but she doesn't go through a risk. She fires him using another gun. Then she goes inside and calls the police officer, but Lumberjack stands up again. He throws an axe towards Luann that pierces her back. But still, she shows bravery. Lumberjack was moving towards her continuously. Luann was trying to stop him by throwing stuff at him, but it wasn't affecting him. Then Luann finds syrup there and she throws a cup filled with it at him. As syrup falls at Lumberjack, he starts burning. He feels pain and he runs away from there while screaming. Running away from there, he comes to the camp. Those friends were having a party there. Everyone runs, but Lumberjack grabs a boy. He kills that boy. Both girls were running in the forest. Suddenly, one of the girls' feet gets stuck in the trap. Her friend runs away from there instead of helping her. Lumberjack comes there and kills that girl whose foot got stuck in the trap. After killing her, he drops her blood too on his pancakes. Here we notice that his pancakes were decreasing in number. That means that he is dropping blood as a syrup on the pancakes and eating it. The girl who was running, Lumberjack doesn't let her run for a long time. He catches her. He smashes her by hitting her with his pancake. The doctor had also reached the camp and he asks everyone to leave as it is risky here. But no one believes him. He tells them a story. One day, a company owner goes hunting. Suddenly, he smells delicious food. He goes to a house following that fragrance. A lumberjack lived there. He was making pancakes for his family. He also feeds that man his pancakes. That man admires the taste of pancakes. He thinks that he had never eaten delicious pancakes like this before. He cracks an idea and also he becomes greedy for money. He offers some money to Lumberjack and asks for its recipe. But Lumberjack clearly refuses. He says that this is our family recipe and I can't tell you. Hearing it, that man becomes aggressive, so he dips his head in that syrup and kills him. He searches the whole house and eventually he gets that recipe. That greedy man uses this recipe and opens his own company. It makes him successful. He becomes famous and rich as well. But after 30 years, Lumberjack comes out of his grave on Tuesday. He was killing everyone who came in his way. He tried to attack Dr. Peter when he was a kid, but Dr. Peter saved his life somehow. Those people still doesn't believe him and say that he's crazy. They ask him to leave, but he says that if Lumberjack finished all of his pancakes, he'll become very powerful. He'll become this much powerful that you can't predict. Saying this, he leaves. He was going in his car when Luann appears in front of him. She was very injured. Her condition wasn't enough good to tell anything. Seeing her state, the doctor understands that it is done by Lumberjack. He makes her sit in the car and drives the car. Luann was continuously saying a word that was syrup. Then we see a police officer there. He finds huge-sized pancakes there. He tastes those pancakes. But Lumberjack comes there and kills him. He covers the pancakes with his blood completely. On the other side, those students were also eating pancakes but without syrup. Their director picks up a pancake, but it wasn't a pancake but something else. It was the skin of one of their friends' face. Seeing it, everyone gets scared. Their state gets worsened. Meanwhile, the lumberjackmen also arrive there. Now they started believing what the doctor said. Lumberjack throws a hatchet on their friend and she dies instantly. Seeing this situation, they believed what the doctor said. They start running away for the sake of their lives, but Lumberjack was catching them and killing them one by one. The chef and some friends locked themselves in the kitchen. They weren't opening the door for anyone's help. Lumberjack kills all the people outside the kitchen one by one. After killing everyone, he starts breaking the kitchen door. Then all of them run away from there and try to escape from the back door. Faith and the chef hide in a shed. They hear someone walking there. They grab their weapons and they were ready to attack him. But there was that doctor instead of the lumberjack who came there to help them. He tells them that we can kill Lumberjack with the help of syrup. They get astonished that how can someone die with syrup? They see that their director was also hiding there. He runs away from there, but Lumberjack catches him and kills him. They were thinking that how could they kill this dangerous ghost with a packet of syrup? But even more worrying thing was Lumberjack would finish those pancakes. If he finishes it, he will wreak havoc. But we see that he had eaten all of his pancakes and had become very powerful. Faith holds up a huge cutter from there. She moves forward to kill the lumberjack. She reaches the cabin and that chef was also with her. They find no one in that house. It was empty. But then a burner opens and Lumberjack comes out of it. Seeing it, he takes that cutter from Faith but couldn't start it. Lumberjack snatches that cutter from him and throws it away. Was about to kill them, but suddenly the deputy comes there. Lumberjack kills him. After killing him, he attacks Faith. He cuts off her two fingers. Right then, Dr. Peter comes there along with his shotgun. He fires at Lumberjack and makes him fall down. Three of them think that the Lumberjack is dead now. They start going away from there. The Lumberjack rises up again. But the doctor plans to use syrup instead of using a gun this time. He goes near Lumberjack in order to throw syrup on him. But the doctor was late in opening the packet. He hits the doctor and the doctor falls backward. Now Faith holds the gun and goes to kill him. But he hits her and throws her in the cabin. She finds the chef's drum filled with syrup that had lost. Lumberjack was about to kill the chef and the doctor, but Lumberjack appears in front of him. Here she reveals a big secret. I am the granddaughter of your killer, she says. Hearing this, he leaves them both but follows Faith. As he approaches her, she grabs him with her hands covered with syrup. She holds him until he dies. After killing Lumberjack, three of them were going to leave. Then all of a sudden, they feel a stir in the cabin. When the cabin explodes, Lumberjack also explodes and dies. They carry Luann with them as well. They take a lift and go away. They were happy that they killed Lumberjack. This movie ends here. Thank you for watching.